to the 2024 presidential race and former President Barack Obama's role within it, especially on the Democratic side. Now, according to Fight, inside the wildest battle for the White House, Obama really did not want Kamala Harris to be the Democratic nominee after former President Joe Biden dropped out. Take a look.
He didn't think that she could win. And we spoke to people very, very close to him who say this, and there were major concerns. So I think they were doing a quiet sort of lobbying effort to see, what the mood was and whether there was enough support for it. Certainly, I think Barack Obama was hearing from some donors. I know Nancy Pelosi was too, that Kamala Harris couldn't win. They kept doing this up until the final minutes of, right after Joe Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. I think they were still calling around. It's why I think Barack Obama kept his powder dry for several days. He wanted to see how all of this would play out, but he had major concerns.
What were the concerns? What were the nature of the concerns?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that she just wouldn't be able to win. I think that they all saw her as a weaker vice president. I don't think that they felt like Joe Biden had really championed her enough, that she was coming in kind of ill-prepared to run as president. Certainly, they look back at her last campaign, I'm sure.
I mean, Obama wasn't wrong. He was right. And look, the whole thing was a mess.
That probably explains why he gave that weak-ass speech trying to get the brothers involved to vote.
Y'all niggas need to get back in line.
Nah, I mean, we all knew Kamala. I mean, honestly, I never heard about her until she was non-elected and just placed in Joe Biden's. Well, obviously the vice president when she was vice president. But before, about her candidacy, I didn't know she was running for the Democratic Party.
Well, I feel like the Democrats should have known if they had to replace the candidate that nobody got to vote in.
I mean, nothing she just said surprised me at all. Like, everybody knew it. Nobody was surprised besides people that was claiming racism and
misogynist.
Yeah,
misogynist. And I don't mean to be a misogynist at all, but I mean, like, we all knew a woman wasn't gonna win.
It's not even.
It's possible, but she sucked.
It's possible.
A woman that sucks.
Hillary Clinton didn't even win, and,
she
got some rep.
She won the primary, though.
Halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool. In a statement to CNN, Cant said the excerpts from the book distorted his meaning. He says, I had no doubts then or now after his debate last summer. According to Ron Klain, his chief of staff, his concerns could not be overstated. The former Biden chief of staff spoke to the journalist Chris Whipple for his new book that details last year's unconventional race. And just 4 days before the debate, Klain recalled that Biden didn't know what Trump had been saying and couldn't grasp what the back and forth of the campaign was. And at his first meeting with Biden for debate prep, quote, Klain was startled. He'd never seen Biden so exhausted and so out of it. Biden was unaware of what was happening in his own campaign. Halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool. In a statement to CNN, Klain said the excerpts from the book distorted his meaning. He says, I had no doubts then or now about the president's mental acuity. My point was that he was exhausted from travel and sick and overly focused on foreign affairs and detached from domestic policy. He says that Biden wasn't in the flow on the arguments of the campaign and was focused on Ukraine and Israel. I am not sure that is the defense that he thinks it is.
And here's the bottom line, having nothing to do with the excerpt. That special counsel who interviewed President Biden about why he had the files in his garage, I mean, his ultimate conclusion was basically Biden wasn't up. Like he shouldn't be prosecuted out of sympathy. He's an elderly man. He's an elderly man who has a very bad memory and doesn't remember anything that happened.
Ashley, do you feel lied to?
Yeah, I do. I hadn't been around the president before that debate, and I worked for Joe Biden, and if the people around him knew that he was not capable, it is unacceptable to me that they allowed him to go onto that stage. I deserve better as a voter.
Whoa, hold on though. I gotta run back something they said, but anyway.
Ashley!
Hold on.
You ain't coming on here, Griffin, man.
Joe Biden had files in his garage?
And they didn't say he was a treasonous or get sent to court like with Trump.
This the first time bring up this?
Why he ain't getting prosecuted?
I just realized what she said. You could look at Joe Biden and see that he wasn't okay. How could the voters know and you don't know?
Oh,
what
God.
the hell is he talking about? Well, I'm happy for her and finally admitting the truth, but at the same time, you dumb. You gotta be dumb.
No, I mean, they're just playing dumb. You know how that goes,
Man,
bro.
you heard what I said? She started Griffin.
Bro, they had a whole compilation of him going the wrong way, like forgetting like where he was. Like he's the type of person like farts, smells it, and smiles.
Now, I literally, guys, we could probably put a 5-year-old child and they could have watched the debate and they could have, and you asked the child who should be the president.
Oh God,
they could have said,
anyway, Joe Biden.
well, he wasn't speaking too well. He was losing his train of thought. Everything was wrong with Joe Biden.
You know what forever messed me up? Y'all told me about the auto pen. And then when I found out about the auto pen, we seen him fall asleep signing. We really saw him fall asleep signing a bill.
But not the auto pen. Like these people are so like
Come on, Ashley.
evil, deceptive, mischievous. Like
It's bad. It is. That's literally what it is.
This is how I know God is real. Because I was literally about to go to a sleep doctor because I really struggled to sleep.
He was.
And then we actually just happened to,
ran across Beam.
find out about Beam. And so I was okay, I'll try this first. And it has literally solved my problem. Like, I think the biggest keys here are what are the ingredients? We got the melatonin, the magnesium, and the theanine. All of those like combined, because I've heard of all these things separately, but when you combine them all, it's like you get in the bed and you feel like something's weighing you down. Like that's how you don't feel like moving. And then you wake up and
I remember you said that I felt like I sunk in the bed.
That's how I felt. Yeah, and it helps me relax my mind before I get to bed. So you can turn on some Cartier Family, lay down, hit the Beam, go to sleep. All right, guys. So what you want to do is go to beam.com and put in the discount code Cartier, and that's gonna get you 35% off. That's not no little discount. That is a big discount, y'all. Beam is really blessing. It's a company that has value similar to ours, and they really just want to help. So 35% off with the code Cartier.
It is unacceptable to me that they allowed him to go onto that stage.
What's she finna
I deserve
say?
better as a voter. Not even as a Democrat, as a voter and as an American. I do.
And I know that Joe Biden is a friend, but,
Come on, Anna.
In this excerpt, the part about the pool, he went off, this is in the middle of debate prep, went off to the pool and he took a nap. And that was before the biggest debate of this campaign. That's not even the governance of the country.
Take 5.
So Joe Biden, maybe he has the best intentions. I'm sure that you believe that. But the right decision, it seems pretty unequivocally, is that he should not have run for re-election.
Look, I was also just texting with Ron Klein, and who vehemently says he was taken out of context. I'll tell you my experience, which is what I can talk about.
Why he got replaced? We know this.
I've known Joe Biden for over 25
bro.
years.
Come on.
Certainly, the Joe Biden today is not the Joe Biden of 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago. It's not. But also, I will tell you, and I think that comes out also in the book and the excerpt that I read, something clearly happened that day, around those days, that was not the case the day after. I saw Joe Biden 24 hours after that debate here in New York. He was a completely different person.
Did he?
I saw Joe Biden when he came to The View after he dropped out. And he was a completely different person than what we saw at that debate. What happened around those days, I don't know. And can I tell you something? I don't care, because I want to talk about the future and how we fight Donald Trump and how we get rid of Donald Trump.
He was not a completely different person. He did the Stephanopoulos debate interview to try to save him. He did your show to try to save him. He just, he's the guy who's in his mid-80s. I'm not faulting him. He just wasn't the Joe Biden.
He's Mitch McConnell.
He had an auto pen.
And his family should have pulled the plug.
I said that.
Well, they
His
should
own
have,
family
and so should his advisors.
Facts.
I mean, talk about a big cover.
Bro, he fell off a
We've been
bike.
talking a lot about Donald Trump lately.
Slowly.
I just want
Hey guys, we're interviewing him on Monday.
Yeah.
Sure, Michael.
Nice.
to ask a simple question. Who in the heck was running the country? If the president's mental acuity was in question and some days he's on and some days he's off, was the guy really capable of doing the job day to day? I honestly really question that.
I hate that.
And I think
I
a
hate
lot
that
of
question.
Democrats who said at the time, oh, Joe Biden is the fittest guy in the world. He could do backflips. He could jump into the pool, run marathons, do 100 push-ups. When every freaking person who saw Joe Biden said, there's no in hell this guy is physically fit. But they told us, don't believe your lying eyes because we're with him every single day. And it wasn't true.
One more piece,
it wasn't true.
Just so people understand the other part of this. Ron Klain was talking about how Joe Biden seemed obsessed with what the world thought of him. Klain wondered, half seriously, according to the book, if Biden thought he was president of NATO instead of the U.S. Quote, he just became very enraptured with being the head of NATO. That wouldn't help him on Capitol Hill because, as Klain noted, domestic political leaders do not care what Macron and
that sounds like facts.
think. And he was running for re-election.
Here's what I will say. I try and be an honest broker when I talk about things on this show. And I do think that does not always happen with other guests. What we are
Present
learning.
company excluded, right?
Present company.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
What we are hearing right now is unacceptable to me, and I am a Democrat. And I think in order for this country to get back on the right track, when things like this are exposed, we have to call balls and strikes right and wrong. That night of the debate was terrifying for many, it was scary. It hurt my heart, but it was very clear that might not have been the first time. And I find that unacceptable. I would find that unacceptable in a Trump administration, in an Obama administration, in a Bush administration, and in a Biden administration.
Why do you think that?
I appreciate her honesty, at least.
We really have to leave it there.
Because you don't just fall off the cliff that quickly. It's a slow decline.
At the least, I mean, I appreciate her honesty, but why are we harping on this? Like, we knew this, like, what? How long ago
Everybody
was that?
knew it.
Last year.
A baby knew it.
Bro, we seen Joe Biden fall asleep at meetings.
Yeah.
You telling me this man supposed to be talking to world leaders?
Auto pen. They say, I got
Bro,
him with the
pull up the
auto pen,
compilation,
right?
bro.
They probably telling Joe Biden anything. Yeah, Joe. They probably saying, hey, we finna get, you could get about let us get 5 million, 7 million, 30 million, 200 million. Joe in that bit, falling asleep in there.
Scratch the back of my head.
Okay.
Nigga got it. Joe Biden had a diaper on up there.
I swear.
If you can't stay up during an important meeting, you have a diaper.
You're definitely shitting on yourself.
This why,
yes, true.
This why I respect, Trump a little bit, because every time I see Trump sign something, it's in a marker. It's not a pen. It's a marker. No auto pen. I'm signing this shit. I said, hey.
Every executive order,
he's speaking upon it.
And well, he got a speaker sometime, and they say telling the people, hey, this is what this for. Give it to me. Zoop. It's done.
Joe Biden can't even stand and talk to us for a couple of minutes.
Auto pen, man, this shit crazy, bro. Hey, they're done.
The 2024 presidential campaign was even more of a mess for Democrats than we even saw. According to several new books about the last few months of the election, they're writing books about it now. In one book, Biden advisor Ron Klain claimed there was a lot of concern that Biden couldn't keep up with the debate prep and he would fall asleep by the pool.
Me too.
Me too. Another book claims President Obama didn't want VP Harris to take Biden's place. His choice was Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Now, these are books that people are writing, so we have to take a lot of this, I think, with a bit of a grain of salt. I mean, if any of this is true, what can Democrats do about it now? I mean, it seems to me this ship has sailed. What's the point?
One thing, if this was not true, why did Kamala Harris pushed in front of us? When she replaced Biden, pretty much. Yes. In front of us, awful. It took one day of this man speaking, Trump on the stage with him. I don't even know what this man even saying.
But now
he's gone.
Now stuff that we know that could be more than possible.
It's getting released.
We've seen it, and now it needs to be taken with a grain of salt.
Oh God.
But then when we talk about Project 2025 and all that different stuff that they put on Republicans, that's all true. All of a sudden, we ain't gonna take that
with a grain of salt. Oh, they're Nazis. Don't take that with a grain of salt. Man, I can't do it with these people, bro.
Now, these are books that people are writing, so we have to take a lot of this, I think, with a bit of a grain of salt. I mean, if any of this is true, what can Democrats do about it now? I mean, it seems to me this ship has sailed. What's the point?
I'd rather read a book about what Trump did to us when he was president and what he's doing to us now.
Yeah.
I'm much more interested in that. I'm not interested in looking back.
And
we're in a constitutional crisis
really
right now.
believe that Trump is not falling asleep in the chair at Mar-a-Lago?
I
actually wish he did fall
There were
asleep.
more books about Trump than I feel like anyone ever needed to
You
read.
wrote one. I did.
You did.
We're in a moment
Oh,
we're in
wow.
where a lot of people are scared. They're nervous. They're worried that we're
Surprising.
seeing America fundamentally changed. And a reason for that, not just a little asterisk, is that Joe Biden did not win, did not step aside in time to allow someone else to win.
Right.
And I
He
do
did.
think it is a story that warrants some reflection, because even beyond the electoral consequences of Trump winning and what we're going to experience the next 4 years, I think there's also what I'm struck by, and I think highly of Biden. People always think I'm like so critical just because I think he needed to step aside and give someone else a chance. He does start to come off, the more we're learning, like I alone can fix it. It almost comes off Trumpian.
And it was late also.
Well,
It
but
was
he should
late.
have done it sooner.
Right,
If he had after the debate, that would have given someone enough runway to actually run a winning
I'm
campaign.
not
I would
mad
say
at
the
Biden
learning
no more.
lesson here is listen to the voters, because one thing that
yeah.
really pissed me off as an independent, and I was one of the people that sat here and said after seeing President Biden, I voted for Biden. I really like Biden. I actually have been happy with him, and I would have voted for him if he continued to run. But I did look at him and think, I think maybe you do need to step aside. And now the rumors that we're hearing starting
you
to
would have
make
voted
sense.
for him.
And what happened is everyone said, you're disloyal if you say that. Shut up and fall in line. And that's why people want to be independents these days. Because partisan politics, they lie. It was the Democratic Party
That's
that
what
made
y'all are
that
doing.
choice that said, you're betraying him if you call it like you see it. And the point here is he wasn't necessarily fit to run for
I'm not
another
black.
4
They
years.
was not saying
Look,
this.
I know Ron
when he was
Klein,
falling
I
off the
was,
bike.
texting with him yesterday. He's one of the longest advisors and very, very close to Biden. So this is probably very painful to them both.
So why say it?
Usually,
Write it. It's
because
kinda
you
mean.
know what? Because
He's
folks
saying
get
the
caught
framing
up
is wrong.
talking about postmortems of campaigns
just
and
wanna
talking
sell
to
books.
reporters who are their friends. And usually, I like these books. Usually, I like the campaign gossip
Stop.
of primary colors after
Stop that
Clinton,
shit.
or after
primary
Obama, or game change after McCain. But these are not normal times, so I'm just not interested in palace gossip from a
not
year and a
normal
half
time.
ago, because I'm more interested
Oh,
about the
but we
children
can
who
bring
are
up
losing
stuff that
food
Trump
because
did
this
many,
government is
many
cutting
years ago.
off the program, and the federal workers
And
who are
they're
losing their
clapping.
jobs. And I'm interested about the deportation people who have no due process. And I'm, interested in the fact that we are at war with trade war with the rest of the world and threatening allies like
Some of us
Panama
warned-
and and
Some
Greenland.
of us warned
All
that
right.
all of this specifically was coming. There were people beating the drum, explaining explicitly what a
Project
second Trump term would
2025,
be.
Shut up.
You're saying it,
Right.
but the Democrats could not put up
and
something
two things-
formidable
All right,
enough to
we gotta
beat
go.
it.
Y'all
Two
was
things
supporting
can be
him the
true.
whole
One,
way.
You can despise Trump and everything the Republicans stand for and still be able to see straight about what happened here. And denying it and telling people you're not seeing what you're seeing is never going to win voters.
I bet you every
ever.
single person
Y'all were doing that.
voted for Kamala Harris wishes that Kamala Harris won right now.
No
I
shit.
Bet you, I bet you that.
No shit.
I bet you that, and I bet you there are a lot of people that voted for Trump that wish that Kamala
And
Harris
a lot
was
of
in the
people
White
who
House.
didn't vote who are probably regretting it now. And
protest vote.
I always
To
said
me,
I would prefer
to me, this is-
Joe Biden in a coma over Trump, and I maintain that. We'll be right back.
That's so funny. She's so hilarious.
No, I
Like,
don't
who
like
is that?
these
Who
people,
are
bro.
they in the audience, bro?
I don't know, bro.
They're not funny, bro.
they're
That shit is not
dumbasses.
funny. They have bad logic. It's
No,
terrible.
I've seen the audience. They just look like dumbass liberals.
Oh my God, they support anything they say. It doesn't matter what they say. As long as it's against Trump, they're gonna support that shit.
Ain't no real people in the audience. Ain't no real
Oh God,
boot wearing,
they got the
Levi
signs in the back.
wearing,
Clap.
American flag wearing people in the crowd.
Was they kind of trying to refer to the terrorists? They were trying to bring up the terrorists.
She brought up the mass
She did
deportations.
bring it
Like,
up.
let's talk about the mass deportations. Let's start just going off, going crazy, trying to distract you. Don't worry about the books about the people who are in his administration coming out and finally saying, not like finally coming out and deciding not to cover up the lies and writing a whole fucking book about it. Please do not go look up these books. They didn't even say the name of the book.
They
did
feel like the book is pretty much praising the the administration right now by releasing that book. So it's pretty much saying everything they said.
I don't know,
what the right said is true.
I just think the book's saying the truth.
You don't think it is?
telling the truth.
I'm saying it is.
But
Okay,
it promotes the
would they
other
not
side
be?
mode. It's like the other side been saying this, and somebody from Biden cabinet confirms it even more. It's not conspiracy.
If we put
theory.
Elon's child in front of the screen, he could say it.
You talking about X?
Yes, anybody could say it.
Oh,
So
God.
it's not like we wouldn't read the book. Only reason we would read the book is just like for a giggle. For
No
a
one's
laugh
reading the book.
that we already knew. They said that he was possibly walking around the White House with a diaper on at night.
Getting cookies out the fridge and shit. Getting
He
milk
don't know
out the
what's
fridge.
going on. Looking at the pen.
You could just take that. Yeah, you could take the pen. Go sign whatever.
Come
you
on,
want.
man.
Oh, bruh.
He's tired and he's sick before. Then they just say he was sick and tired after the debate from all the traveling he's doing. He was asleep over there when he was traveling in Africa.
I ain't gonna
How
lie.
much sleep does he need?
I won't keep it 100. I don't think Trump be sleeping.
Like probably 4 hours a day,
Well,
bro.
well, they told us his schedule. Somebody
we did kind of, but
They,
still.
what they say 8 to 11. They say he in 8 to 11.
Like
he
what?
wake up at 8, and then
8
he
a.m.
keep cutting. He chilling at 11.
11.
So he
And
going
he gets
that
a lot of
hard
shit
all day.
done.
Yeah, he going hard from 8 to 11.
Why they don't never get this man credit?
I don't know, bro. Hey, we've been seeing. We haven't seen it all. That's what's crazy. There's people that are deeper in, like this, probably watching this.
No, some
deeper
more
in.
crazier shit.
Yeah, they've been watching this.
No,
shit
for sure.
For
At the gym
10 years ago.
Listen, bro. At the gym yesterday, I'm walking into the sauna. Somebody, the old man, he's a black old man. He's like, yeah, he voted for Trump. How you like your president? I'm like, everything's cool. Everything's cool. I mean, the economy is, we're in a trade war. We're in a tariff battle, reciprocal tariffs, all that stuff. I mean, it makes sense. If you have a logical brain, you know that if they taxing me, I'm taxing them.
That's facts.
That's facts.
I don't. Hey, man.
What's wrong with that?
So we
gonna see, bro.
Hey, bro.
We gonna see, bro.
That's why I'm just confused. $5 trillion. They building stuff over here.
I
What
get
is
it.
the problem?
I get it. You just simply don't argue with dumb people. You cannot argue with liberals and Democrats. You just
Hey,
simply
if you
can't.
wouldn't bring us on, bro. Hey, they can bring up on any of us, and we gonna abuse them on there. They tried to save. They tried to save Joe Biden when he went up there. Y'all hurt Joe Biden.
You wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to.
Kamala.
That is 5 women. They're gonna overtalk the shit out of you, bro.
They do that to Alyssa and Anna right here when they speaking facts. But anyways, though,
Yeah.
guys, let us know what y'all think about it. This is crazy.